It is 5:15 this Thursday afternoon, and it's very good to welcome Jeff Beal, whose second album of New York Etudes is out now. Welcome back to In Tune.
Thank you so much, Petrak. It's nice to see you.
Thank you for coming and seeing us. Now, you have scored a multitude of feature films, of documentaries, of TV series. It feels to me that these works for piano, written for you to play yourself, are much more intimate letters, much more personal.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I'm a trumpet player. That's the instrument I've played my whole life. That's me playing on the House of Cards music, but piano's been sort of my voice as a composer. So these pieces are personal and sort of almost like a stripped-down version of what I get to do in the other part of my career.
A bit of a diary, a bit autobiographical?
Yes, absolutely. There's always a personal diary to them. I think, they're called the New York Etudes. We moved to Manhattan in 2021, which was a strange time to be moving. We moved back for family reasons, and also we just wanted to be in New York. But the only piece of furniture we brought was an old Steinway piano, and it's on that piano that I started writing these pieces. This first one's called New Leaf, and I love nature. There's a lot of metaphors I love in nature, and I guess there's a little melody in the left hand that repeats, but each time it plays, it's just a little different, and that's what I love about nature. It repeats these patterns, but they're always slightly different.
The pianist and composer Jeff Beal is with me in the studio this Thursday. We're talking about his new album, New York Etudes, Volume 2. He's playing the Etudes at Steinway Hall in London at 6:30 tomorrow evening. Jeff, we were just talking about how personal these works are. Since you released Volume 1, both of your parents have died, and I think their legacy plays a key part in this collection.
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's a selfish thing we artists have, is that sometimes our work becomes a catharsis. And especially for my mom, she just loved the first record. I was with her the day she passed, and we had my sister put it on repeat. And so coming back to the project and finishing the pieces was very cathartic for me, but it was also, of course, wonderful closure. I don't think it's a sad record per se, but I do think obviously there's something about the finiteness of life which is so precious, and I think that's part of what this music is. I think the other profound personal connection for me too, well, there's a couple other things. One is that I think in a lot of ways this music is an answer to what I think is a very noisy, distracted world, and that's for me too. We all live in this incredibly world of screens and noise.
And there you are writing this in the middle of Manhattan.
I know, which is a little insane, but, a dichotomy. But, I was diagnosed with MS 19 years ago. So another a big part of this project for me has been a ritual of a lot of things, just cognitive function. And I feel like staying active musically this 19 years has been really great for my cognitive health. And
you've talked about how important that busyness, that constant concentration has been in the fight against the MS.
Absolutely, it's profound, and this is something in a way we've sort of known intuitively. Music is an art form that leverages so many different areas of the brain, but now we have all these amazing studies coming to back it up. And so, but also MS is a disease of opportunity, and stress is a big trigger. So I experienced something. Especially when starting to practice and play these pieces, like the one I'll play next, there's a real, just profound sense of calm and peace coming over me, and that's, we can all use some of that in our lives, and that's part of the fun and honesty in performing it for humans, is just to sort of share that more quiet, reflective space.
You've talked about your parents. Another key figure, I think, in your family life was your grandmother, who used to play for silent movies. I mean, that's a trigger to your career.
I know, and it's so funny, Petrak, because I only learned this after she had passed. Really? But, she was incredibly musical, a great improviser at the piano. And I'll never forget when I first started playing trumpet, she went into her little collection of vinyls and pulled out for me Miles Davis, Sketches of Spain, and Kind of Blue. And so that was just, wow, what an amazing way to get started. And yeah, I think I think a lot of people will say there can be a really profound connection somehow with DNA and musicality. And I'm very grateful for that, whatever that gave me. She was incredible.
Tell us about the nocturne you're going to play next.
Yeah, I one of the fun things about this project is it's a bit of an homage to some of the piano music I love, and I think this is obviously it's a little bit of an homage to Chopin and the sort of romantic school. Somebody mentioned to me also Bill Evans. There's a certain way for me. One of the things I love about piano music, and every piano is different, is just the way the instrument vibrates and rings. And, I think maybe because I play trumpet, but I feel like that's the music. That's what I love in a piano sound, is just the way it can be a beautifully lyrical instrument.
Yeah, we had Peace on the programme, played by Cordelia Williams on Tuesday, by Bill Evans. And
yes,
that's one of those things where everything just stops
color
and stands still. Let's hear your Nocturne.
Absolutely.
Jeff Beal going back over to the piano here In Tune, and he will play for us now another of his New York etudes. Nocturne by Jeff Beal, one of his New York etudes from his new album, New York Etudes Volume 2. He's going to play one more for us when he returns just after 6 o'clock. One more piece from pianist and composer Jeff Beal, who's with us on In Tune this Thursday. One of the greatest movies, Jeff, of all time, partly because of its extraordinary historical context, is Fritz Lang's Metropolis, released 99 years ago. You are bringing it back to life.
Yes, I've written a new score for this film. It's a really masterpiece of cinema. and it's a really fun project. We're going to premiere it in Prague in the 27th of April. I'm going to be conducting the Czech National Symphony, and I've written this big, it's almost like a Mahler symphony, plus a few electronics with this amazing silent movie.
Any chance of seeing it here, do you think?
I really hope. We're actually talking to the BBC Symphony and the Barbican, so, fingers crossed. So, it's...
I think that's as good as an announcement. Once things are announced on In Tune, they have.
How can they say no now?
Exactly.
How can they say no?
Well, we'll keep our listeners in touch. We're going to finish with one last piece, and I think we're in seasonal mood here.
We are. We're also celebrating water because, being a Californian in the arid West, one of the things I loved about moving back east is the prevalence of water. So the piece is called Summer Spring, and I just pictured this spring somewhere overflowing with water, and you get rain all year round here in Britain as we do in New York, and it keeps things green and it's very beautiful. So I felt like it was a good reason to do it because today is such a beautiful day, and we're finally having a bit of spring. We had an amazingly long winter in New York City.
Same here. Summer Spring. Jeff Beal live for us on In Tune. Summer, Spring. Jeff Beal playing live on In Tune, his new album, New York Etudes. Beal, thank you very much indeed for being with us on the programme today. Great to have you here.